Hi, and welcome to Small Business Network TV. This is Gail Turner Brown, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to bring you this platform. A few years ago, I wanted to find ways to work with and help the small business owner, the consultant, the speaker, the author, and determine how can I help them deliver their message, their product, their service in a much bigger way. Well, today I'll tell you, we have just launched Small Business Network TV. And now here is the place that you can come to share your message, share your product, your service, and to expand your visibility and get the recognition that you deserve. Not that long ago, I went to a small business meetup and then had an opportunity and a privilege to interview some of the up-and-coming business owners in our surrounding area. It really was amazing and had a ton of fun. Now, let me tell you this. We were at a meetup, so we were at an event where there is definitely some background noise. So hopefully you'll be able to work through that a little, because I think you will find the information enlightening and exciting, and it will also, I'm hoping, will be beneficial and a little educational for you as well. So you know what, sit back, relax, grab your favorite cup of coffee, cup of tea, and enjoy what you are about to see. This will be amazing. So welcome again, and see you in a little bit. This is Gail Turner Brown with Small Business Network and Small Business Network TV. This is Jennifer Garcia. I've known Jennifer for about a year. I met her for about a year. And Jennifer is a psychic medium, which I found totally awesome-tacular, okay? This is so fascinating to me. And so, but she is able to, she works with energy and Reiki healing, right? Okay, yes. And Reiki and so many different aspects of us that we don't think about. We don't realize what's the underlining, what's going on. So, Jennifer, say hello, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello everyone, I'm Jennifer Garcia. I'm a psychic medium, a certified energy healer, and my business is Spiritual Spectra.
All right, the Spiritual Spectra. So Jennifer, when did you find out, when did you realize that I want to say that you had to have a gift, but then I do want to also kind of clarify that, because we all have a gift, right?
Right.
Okay, so talk to me. Tell me, how did you find out about this, and how long have you been doing this to help other people?
Well, technically, everybody is psychic on some level. How I try to explain to people is everybody can toss a ball, but not everybody's Michael Jordan.
Okay, that's true.
So everybody has the ability on some level. They're just those that are far more gifted than others.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay.
And I was actually 5 years old when I first discovered this ability. I didn't realize it was an ability back then. I just knew how I felt. I had a loved one who was very ill, and somehow I just knew that he was going to die. And I didn't know how I knew this, but I had this terrible certainty. And I didn't want to have that certainty because I wanted that person to live.
Right.
But I couldn't understand it, and I felt very conflicted, and I tried to find a way to communicate my family and tell them without telling them, and it really didn't work out, and he passed away. And for years, I blocked my ability because it scared me and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And on some level, I probably had little moments here and there where deja vu or psychic, but nothing major that I could really attribute to that ability until high school. And once again, it was predicting someone passing on. It was a very close friend of mine. Her father had been sick with liver cancer for a long time. And one morning on my way to school, I just felt it. I could feel him dying at that moment. He hadn't passed on yet, but I could feel that he was slipping away. As soon as I got to school, I warned her. She thought I was crazy. And, I said, well, look, even if you don't believe me, even if you think I'm nuts, do you want to take that risk that he's going to pass away and you're not going to be there? And she had her own car, so I said, look, just drive home. I'll talk to the principal. I'll, talk to your teachers. I'll do everything you need. Well, she didn't want to listen to me. So she stayed, and later on, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I called her to see how, he was. And she said that when she got home, everyone had said that he'd been asking her for her all day, and that early that morning, he'd almost passed away. And within minutes of her arriving, he finally did. He was waiting for her.
Right.
He wanted to say goodbye.
Right.
And she just couldn't believe how I would know something like that.
Right.
So it's been a long journey between me really being afraid of this and then eventually kind of exploring my spirituality. And what really got me into tapping into it in a positive way was actually using the tarot cards.
Okay.
I had joined a group of people who were really interested in tarot amongst other spiritual practices, and a friend of mine had actually gotten me a deck, because when I was younger, I'd always go to tarot readers. Whenever there was a fair or festival, I would always get a reading. And so a friend of mine got me a deck, but I was too scared to use it for a long time because I was afraid that I was just going to predict more people dying. And so I finally got the guts up to use it, and at first the reading didn't make any sense to me, but I wrote down, I took notes, and a month later, it happened. And it wasn't anything bad, it wasn't somebody dying, and I was like, okay, so I can predict something other than just people dying. Yay! Maybe this ability is not a bad thing. And really, in exploring the tarot more, that really helped me to really evolve my ability and eventually be able to help others with that.
Okay, great. Well, when you shared with me what you did or what your ability was, one of the first things that came to my mind, because I've heard people say this before, so how do you address people that say two things? One, ooh, that seems kind of woo-woo. And two, you may have other people who belong to other religious groups that say that's the work of the devil. That's not something that you should really be tapping into. That's more of the dark arts, if you will, to use a Harry Potter term. That's part of that. What do you say to that? Is that true?
What I say to people, and there's two different responses to that. For those that feel like it's too woo-woo, and I just try to get them to better understand things that maybe have happened in their own life, that they've had these little psychic moments. For example, did you ever have that gut feeling that you shouldn't go on that airplane today, or you shouldn't take that route to work today? These little notions and gut feelings of something wrong. We've all had them. And
yeah, I know. I had it when I got married. Okay, I'm sorry.
And sometimes we listen to them and sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
And so we've all had at least that kind of moment. I said, well, just take that and expand that exponentially, As for people who feel it's into the dark arts, and I said, well, I actually had someone recently who really challenged me about that. And I said, well, if what I'm telling people is to harm them, then that's why you would think that. But I'm not telling anything that's harming a person. I'm telling them something that's to help them heal, help them to guide their path. And one of the things that I think we all instinctively know when something isn't right.
That's true.
Sometimes we'll meet somebody and you just know you don't like that person, you don't know why, and then later on you find out why you don't like that person. Well, if I ever said anything to someone that instinctually felt wrong, they would say it or they would just walk out. That's never happened. Quite the opposite. People will be like, you know what? Some people will be like, you know what? I knew all along, but I didn't want to face the answer. Because maybe it was a bit too challenging for me, but I knew all along. Or you know what? That really helped to clarify. I've had so many mixed feelings about something. And so it feels right to them. And what I do is basically help people guide them. A lot of times people know the answer themselves, but they don't want to accept it. Or they're too muddled and too confused because they have so many different people telling them all these different things. A lot of times family members and friends will give advice and say this and say that, and it's right for them, but it's not right for that person. And so I get to the core of what's right for that person. And when they hear it, they know it. They can sense it, they feel it. And I've also had several clients come back to me later who will say, you know, this happened. You told me this was going to happen, and this is what happened.
Right.
You know, I, in fact, had someone last year, someone you know, in fact, and she was very nervous when she came to me, and part of the reason was her religious objection. She wasn't sure. And so she said, well, you know, she seemed to like me. She thought, you know what, I'll give it a chance. And I said, all you have to do is give it a chance. And if you feel uncomfortable, even for 1 second, walk away. I have no problem if you feel uncomfortable, if it's not right for you. You have to do what's ultimately right for you. And so we did actually a medium reading rather than a tarot for her. And a loved one came through that she wasn't familiar with. And so I always tell all of my clients, take notes, because you're not going to remember something. You know, I throw out a lot of information, and it's hard to kind of sometimes grasp all of it at that moment in time. And so she did, and later on, she took that information to her mother, and she's like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. That's your Uncle so-and-so. The description was exactly perfect to that person. She knew exactly who it was without question. Well, he had passed away long before this person was even born, which is why she didn't know who he was, and she hadn't really heard of him. But the mother recognized the description completely. I also predicted a promotion, and later that summer, just as I had predicted, she got her promotion.
Wow. That's okay. That's super awesome. So you talked about you did a medium reading, not the tarot card. Tell me, what's the difference between the medium reading and then the tarot card?
To put it simply, a psychic reading using the tarot is predicting the future, whereas a medium reading is speaking to loved ones who passed on.
Okay. So,
and sometimes I mix the two depending on what the needs are of the client.
Okay, how can a card predict the future and you got to work with me on this one, because I don't understand.
So the cards are merely a tool.
Okay.
The cards in and of itself do nothing. The cards amount to clarification.
Okay.
I'll give you, for example, we'll read a book, right? And it's all in writing. But nowadays, we're drawn more to images, aren't we? On the web. We'll look at images more so than writing.
Yes.
Images speak to us. Images draw to us. You know, they say an image is worth 1,000 words.
Right.
So that's all it is a tool. The ability is there, and images will come to me, information will come to me. It's just a tool to connect and to help to clarify that information. You know, think about a computer. You download a bunch of information. It's hard sometimes to sort all that information out.
That's true.
So what cards does is basically it kind of sorts that information out in a way that's easier for me to be able to convey it to the person. So I don't get all of this download of information and then I spew it out to the person. They're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. If I can do it more systematically, it's a lot easier for the person to understand.
Got it.
It's just a tool.
No one ever, I mean, you know, I'm used to seeing the mediums, and they will pull out a card and they say, this is the Jack of Diamonds. That means death is going to come to you. You know, that's what I'll never forget. Carmen Jones, that's what they said, you know, you're going to die, girl, you're going to die. And so...
Well, that's actually a myth, though. The death card isn't just about physical death. Yes, it can predict that, but it basically means an ending of something. So it could be the ending of a marriage, for example. Okay? It could be the ending of a career. So death is really just the ending of something.
That's like,
it's
okay,
not
no
always,
one has ever explained it like that.
It's not always a physical death. It can be.
Right.
But I would say 9 times out of 10 it's not.
Wow. Okay.
And so it's really nothing to be feared, because sometimes, as much as you might think that a career ending or a marriage ending is a horrible thing, it's certainly painful, but if it's a bad marriage, then in the end, you're going to be happier.
Right.
If it's a career where you are miserable and you hate your boss, well, there might be something better out there for you.
Right.
So it's not something to be feared. It's basically, it's ending of something and a transition to something new.
Wow. Okay. So how do you help people with all of this? I mean, so in other words, when someone comes to you, do you determine what tool you use, whether it be a tarot cards, or I know you said you do energy healing, things like that. So how do they come to you saying, I want this reading, or do they come to you saying, I have this problem, and you determine what bag of tricks, so to speak, or what tool you want to pull out of your toolbox to use?
Both. There's some people who specifically say, I want a tarot reading. Some people who specifically say, I want a medium reading or an energy healing. Either because they've had it before and they're already familiar with what each does, or they've gone to my website and they've seen, okay, this is the clarification of what each one is. And then there are some who aren't sure. I've had some people say, well, I'm not really sure what I want. And usually the ones that are unsure, it's usually if they don't know if they want a psychic reading or a medium reading. And so sometimes I'll be like, well, I can do a mixed bag. I can do a little bit of both and just kind of go with the flow and see what it is that you need. Because ultimately it's what you need. Yes. It's not, the tool is a means to help you.
Right. Got it. Okay, this is super great. How long does it take you to do a tarot reading for somebody?
That's a good question.
Okay, good.
It all depends on the issue that they come to me.
Okay.
Now, I can do fun ones at parties, 5-10 minutes. And basically, all I do is kind of gloss over one little issue and just give them a little bit of tidbit or feedback. I did, for example, one of those high school after prom parties. And so that was a lot of fun. And
I can imagine. After school prom party, high school prom?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You had a lot of fun.
And so, so they would just, most of them came to me, I'm not sure which college to go to, or
really?
or I'm not sure what to major in. So most of the questions were very lighthearted. I had one girl who said, well, I'm in a relationship now, and I don't know if it's going to last going to college. And so I surprised her, and I said, well, considering you're already dating somebody else, I don't think so. And her friend, she totally laughed. She was like, she got you.
Oh, wow.
And so for those, it's lighthearted, it's small, it's fun. If someone's come to me for something thorough, I typically do either a half hour or 1 hour session. And it really depends on what that person needs. Sometimes it's a financial issue. Some people are like, well, I can only afford a half an hour reading. Fine. With some, it just depends on the issue. Sometimes the issue is just they have one thing that they want to know about, and half an hour is fine. Then there's some people who have a load of issues. They're like, I have a relationship problem, I have a career problem, I have a problem with my family, so I'm going to be here for an hour. Because I've got a lot of stuff I need to know about. I've even done, the longest I've ever done is an hour and a half.
Wow.
And it was basically a session that was intended to be an hour, but they were like, you know what, let's go for another half hour because I got a lot more questions.
That's I can absolutely see that. All right, well, this has been great. You have no idea. This has really been great. How do people get in touch with you if they've got an issue that they want to do, or as you said, they got a party, they want some, I hate to call it entertainment because this is real stuff.
It is.
But this is something that they want to hire you to come in to help their guests, whatever. How do they get a hold of you?
So they can either call me, and my phone number is 888-934-3642. They can email me, info@spiritualspectra.com, and my website is spiritualspectra.com.
Awesome.
I'm also on Facebook and Twitter.
Awesome. All right. Okay. This is great. So thank you again. This has really been enlightening, eye-opening. I learned some stuff. I hope everybody else learned some stuff too. Call Jennifer. Call her now. Call Jennifer. So thanks a lot, Jennifer. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hi, and welcome back. I hope you got as much out of that as I did. We had a lot of fun putting that together, and I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot as well. If you did, can you put a comment down in the comment box? Really would appreciate it. And even if you didn't like it, we want to hear from you. Our goal is to make you famous. We want to put you in a position so that you are seen as the expert and authority in your particular industry. We want to make sure that you have the ability to crush your competition and totally dominate in your field. That is the opportunity that I want to provide for you. I want to make you an offer that hopefully you won't be able to refuse. At Small Business Network TV, not only will we put you on a platform so that you can get the exposure and visibility that you need, we want to ensure that you have the tools necessary to now capitalize on your newfound celebrity. So we are going to put together a comprehensive, extensive, personalized, and customized marketing package just for you. We've designed it so that when you are done, there is no stone left unturned. You will have all of the materials necessary to really explode your business and collect the checks, because you are going to see more leads and more profits than ever before. If that sounds anything like something you want to do, come and talk to us. Come onto the show. Our information is here below. Everyone wants to know about who you are and what you're doing in your business, your product, and your service. The last thing is, our show is going to air every week. We're going to spotlight a different entrepreneur, a speaker, an author, a business owner. So make sure to stay tuned and tune in. Subscribe to our channel, and that way you will never miss a beat. So until next week, have a phenomenal and prosperous week.